Hey everybody, Brian Zane here with my predictions for All In 2024. It's happening this weekend in foggy London town at Wembley Stadium. For the second year in a row, it's going to be another big deal for AEW. It's crazy to see what the difference a year makes because last year, the grandiosity and the historic nature of last year's All In show, it's crazy how long it took them to formulate a card that they could publish and announce and say, here's some matches that are happening. This year, they did not mess around. They gave us a lot of matches for All In, a long time in advance to prepare and gird our loins for, because I think the build for a lot of these matches in particular have gotten very interesting, very intriguing, and there's a lot of these where I honestly couldn't tell you definitively like where I think these are going to go. A lot of these upper tier matchups on the card, I think can honestly be coin flips, but it's going to be really interesting to see where things shake out. We're going to start with the match of the Trios Championship. You've got the Patriarchy, which is officially Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Mama Wayne, not Killswitch. They're defending against the Bang Bang Gang, the House of Black, and a trio that was named at Collision. Collision is not aired at the time I'm filming this and putting it out, so I'm not going to spoil it for you yet, but that team is also involved, and so trying to weigh in the options of who I think is going to win this one. I don't understand the point of stripping the Trios titles off the Bang Bang Gang just to put them back on them. I think they're a great act. I wish they were the champions. I don't think they're going to win this one. I also don't think House of Black is going to win it back, and I just think that the trio that has been added to this four-way is a bit too motley of a crew. I don't really see them winning it either. I think it's just going to go back, stay with the Patriarchy. Obviously, Killswitch is going to, get a lot of moves in and stuff, and I'm sure Mama Wayne's not going to really do anything physical in this matchup, obviously, but I think it's going to be an interesting story with that being told, but, the Patriarchy being the Trios champions, that is the story, and so I can imagine that they're going to find some sneaky way to retain. Chris Jericho defends the For the World Championship against Hook in a last chance match. If Hook does not win, he can never challenge for the belt again. Please, I am begging you, just let Hook beat Jericho very quickly, very soundly, and let's get this over with. I think that the learning tree gimmick was interesting at first, and then the joke got old, and then they stopped doing the joke. And now I feel Chris Jericho as a character is just very similar to what he was before he made that whole turn into the learning tree, when he started to get a little more like unhinged, it seems. There was definitely something about his character that was turning, and then the turn happened, and then he went kind of cartoony, and now he's pulled that back entirely. And I don't understand any of it, but I don't think it's really been helpful to Hook. I don't think he's been at all elevated in this program at all. This whole wink and nudge about the Jericho Vortex is a bit more on the nose than they're letting on, and I think it's just time to, move on from this program. Jericho can stay the learning tree and he can do something else with this, but him having the FCW Championship doesn't add much to it. Doesn't seem to be helping Hook out that much. I hope this match is good. That's all I'm asking for. A coffin match for the TNT Championship as Jack Perry defends against Darby Allin. I think this is going to be a sleeper hit or a possible, hidden show stealer kind of gem, because these two are definitely going to put themselves through it in an attempt to shock and awe this audience, especially Darby Allin. But we've seen Jack Perry, put himself through a lot of crazy stuff too, even before joining up with the Elite in this current scapegoat form. I love what Jack Perry has done, making his own championship belt, smelting his own plates and painting them and hand splattering red on it. It's such a cool thing. I think every champion should make their own belt. If they really want to have a custom belt, they should make it themselves. I think they should take a class for that. But I think this was, it's going to be a very intense matchup. There's going to be some death-defying stuff here, to be certain. My prediction is that Jack Perry is going to win. Casino gauntlet match to see who gets the next shot at the AEW Championship. I mean, if you just look at the lineup that's announced right now, there's no other person I could see winning this but Hangman Page. I mean, the story just practically lends itself to this because you've seen how much more in the last couple of months how deranged Hangman Page has gotten and what he has done in his own relationships with people. We saw what he did with his own friend Evil Uno this week on Dynamite. He's crazy. He's going absolutely nuts in his quest to take everything away from Swerve Strickland. And so I think because of that story, it just seems to me this is the time for Hangman to get another big win here, and I think that this is the first step in what's going to be a pretty interesting conclusion for this show based on my predictions. More on that in a bit. The Young Bucks defend the AEW Tag Titles against FTR and the Acclaimed. I think this is going to be a pretty entertaining matchup here. I think that FTR and the Young Bucks, they've got that great chemistry with each other, and the Acclaimed, I think, are going to be a very interesting wild card to this, to kind of put an extra dash of spice into kind of what the Bucks and FTR did last year at Wembley Stadium. Since FTR got the win last year, that really leads me to believe that Matthew and Nicholas are going to retain this time around and bring the belts back home with them to the States. You know, the heat they're getting for not defending the tag titles is, you know, it's classic stuff. They're just kind of being cowards. They're not doing the thing the fans want them to do because they're the heel authority figure and they can kind of make their own rules. So, you know, it's going to come to a head where they eventually do drop it to somebody. I just don't think it's going to happen here at Wembley. Toni Storm versus Mariah May for the AEW Women's Championship. What a crazy roller coaster of emotions these two ladies have taken us on for the last year or so. It's a story that, you know, many were able to see coming from literally the moment Mariah May debuted on the scene in this company, but the way they have been going about it and building everything, and the way that Mariah has justified her actions in betraying Toni after winning the Owen Hart tournament has just been really well done. And it's funny to see Toni kind of make this metamorphosis and go through different cinematic eras, so to speak. And I think it's going to be, it's going to lead to a very good matchup here, because we've seen the emotion that these two have for each other when they were friends, when they were allies. And this is just a very, you know, deeply romantically coded, a lot of romantic subtext and not so subtext in this storyline. So I think we're going to see a lot of that come to light in this matchup as well. We're going to see that kind of play into the story. Will Mina Shirakawa have a role in this? Oh, I don't know. But I think it's going to stay probably just one-on-one, Toni and Mariah. And, you know, I think it's going to be time for Mariah. I think she's going to win the championship here. It's all going to go according to plan. And Toni's had a great run as the champion. I think that she's held on to the belt for this long, longer than some would argue she needs to, but for the specific purpose of putting Mariah May over, because I think that this is going to be her time, and it's just been a great story they've told, like I said, for the better part of the last year to get to this point and really build a rivalry matchup that's going to turn a lot of heads, I think. MJF will defend the American, nay International Championship against the former champion in Will Ospreay. And I tell you what, based on what they've already done in the ring and on the microphone with each other, I think that this match has the potential to be match of the night. I think it's going to be really awesome stuff, because these two are the present/future of professional wrestling in AEW, and I think these two are just going to put on a really strong match for the ages. If you liked the match they had that went the full hour where MJF won the belt, then I think this one may not go that long, but I think it will be equally exciting and fun to follow. And I think that the last promo off they did this week on Dynamite kind of really sealed it for me. Their back and forth is really good. MJF kind of using the facts don't care about your feelings theme, and he's the facts and Will is the feeling. I like that kind of metaphor. I liked, you know, the idea of MJF kind of going there and getting personal, trying to get into Ospreay's head. And then we see that little moment between Bryan Danielson and Ospreay backstage where Danielson says, "Do it, do it." And so he's telling Ospreay he has permission to hit the Tiger Driver, which has been the move that is just, you know, it's haunted him for so long. And so now I think he'll finally do it. I don't think it's going to put MJF away, though. Here's the thing. I believe this is one of those coin flip matches where I think it could really go either way. As much as I would like Ospreay to regain the belt and make it the International Championship again, I think there is still some mileage here on this one with MJF as the American champion. So my gut is telling me that MJF is going to win and retain. It's CEO versus DMD on TBS as Mercedes Moné defends the TBS Championship against Dr. Britt Baker. This matchup, I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this one because it is probably the highest profile match that Moné has had in AEW, because Britt is AEW's biggest female star. She's been gone for a very long time dealing with those health issues. so this is going to be her first real big test, and I think there's going to be a lot of focus on how Britt is going to perform in this high pressure situation. So I think that, and Mercedes as well, she's also known for getting a little bit crazy when she bumps and when she wrestles, and sometimes it can get a little nasty looking. So I'm really curious to see just what happens here with these two and how far they're willing to go in this matchup. And it's another tough one for me to pick. I think that my heart of hearts tells me Mercedes Moné is going to retain here. And then I'm going to do kind of an extra twist. I believe that maybe we'll see the return of Jamie Hayter. Maybe she will show up and confront Mercedes after the match. Just a little thought. Finally, it's title versus career. It's Swerve Strickland defending the AEW World Championship against Bryan Danielson. And the way they've been telling this story, it's that Bryan Danielson has gotten soft. He's got his eye off the ball. He's looking ahead to retirement. He's not even thinking about, putting his all in to this matchup with Swerve. And, Swerve has kind of gotten into Danielson's head. And then you see Danielson getting kind of woke up these last couple of weeks. He had that big match with Jeff Jarrett to see if he could have the guts, to take on Swerve. And then the promo exchange these two had on the Go Home Dynamite. Again, very, very strong. Daniel Bryan using some swears, for the extra oomph. And I think that he's finally get that kind of motivation. I think that all the talk about, Daniel Bryan's focusing on, being more of the family, being more of a dad. He's got these health issues, I think it's all a red herring, honestly, because I don't think this is going to be the end of Danielson's run. This is supposed to be, he'll never wrestle again if he loses. And I don't think that's going to be it here. There's always this talk about how Danielson seemingly does not want the championship or doesn't really want to win all that much. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get that big moment where Danielson finally wins the championship in front of this big crowd in a match where his career's on the line, where his family's going to be there. I think it's going to be a great moment. I think it's going to be a great matchup here. I mean, Swerve and Danielson, two Washington State boys main eventing this major pay-per-view, one of the biggest the company's going to do all year. It's really cool to see from somebody from the Pacific Northwest. So I'm rooting for both. I just hope both guys have fun and be safe. But as far as who I think's going to win, I do, in my heart of hearts, think Danielson's going to pull one out, and he's going to do what he has to do, a killer instinct to become the champion. I do believe that Hangman Page will get involved somehow, because I don't know if he wants to. I think Hangman Page will cost Danielson or will cost Swerve the match, and then will use his championship opportunity to beat a highly wounded and broken down Danielson to become the champion. Kind of a little swerveroo there. That's like my absolute crazy scenario thing to happen. But it could be very different. I think it really could go either way. I am ready to accept the fact that maybe this is just the end of Bryan Danielson's career, and this is going to be how he goes out. And so I think either way, it's going to be a great journey to get there, and I cannot wait to see how the journey ends. But those are just my thoughts, folks. What do you think is going to happen at All In? And hey, bonus question, Ricochet has been reported he's signed with AEW. Do you think he's going to appear at All In? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, hit that bell icon for all the notifications, and I will see you on the other side on Monday or Tuesday with my review of All In. But until then, I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.